All right, welcome to Two Guys, One Take. I'm Noah, and that is Turner. Welcome to the first show.
Welcome,
Every
everyone.
week, every week we're going to bring you guys a rundown of what's going on in the sports world on a Sunday, take you through some nostalgic moments, give some shout outs, and talk a little TV as well. First things first, Masters Sunday, Turner. Who are we rooting for? What do we want to see happen today? The boys are teeing off right now.
Well, rooting for today is going to be a little weird just because McElroy's minus 200, and it's like, man, how am I going to watch anything if I can't bet on it? Like, I'm trying to get some good odds. But the boy Deshambo, I wanted him, obviously, to win. And then Max Homa as well. I put a little top 20 in there. I think I'm going to hit on that. So, really rooting for Deshambo, but I think McElroy is going to take it away, honestly.
I need a DeChambeau win because I love the DeChambeau YouTube videos,
Yes.
but I do feel good. I would feel good about a Rory win only because he's been so public about how bad he wants to finish the Grand Slam and to win the Masters, and that's the last one.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be very Rory for him to be walking onto 18 with the lead and then blow it. That would be a classic moment that we could look back on. So I'm not rooting against either of them. Would be happy with either of them winning, but if I'm being honest, I want my boy Ludwig to make a comeback. He's sitting at 6 under, and I have a plus 1800 before from like 2 weeks ago on him to win the whole thing. So if I could get a Ludi comeback, I think I'd be happy with that.
Do you know who he's against in the first round today?
I didn't even look at who his partner was today, but I know he teed off probably 20 minutes ago.
Yeah,
So
I'd say it
should
looks
have
like
a
they're
good
just
idea.
teeing off.
Yeah.
I think DeChambeau and McElroy just finished the first hole. I have
I
no
think
idea who
DeChambeau
went
could get in
down.
McIlroy's head pretty easy. He plays kind of slow, and Rory can become a little bit of a head case when he starts to miss putts or just his when his game looks a little bit off. He kind of you can see it on his face. He kind of freaks out a little bit. I'm not a golf expert, but I know how that feels when I'm playing awful.
Just in any sport, honestly, anywhere. Do you think McElroy opened up X today and he was like, damn, they're gonna hit me with this shit again?
I think if I'm him, I'm avoiding any social media at all costs going into the night. But
Well, you saw the pre, like when he was taking his practice rounds and he grabbed that guy's phone.
yep,
Fucking, I love that from him. That's crazy energy.
I think he's a little bit of a he's just a little bit of a mental midget when it comes to being able to deal with fans and
It's funny.
the especially whenever they're close like that. The Masters, they're like right on top of you. And it's all very respectful, obviously, because the Masters is, everybody's super, respectful of the situation, but I think he gets in his head, especially like he misses a close putt. It'll just be interesting to see.
Yeah,
So not exactly going to be
definitely
a golf
interesting.
pod, but I had to jump off and talk Masters since it is Masters Sunday.
I was gonna
That's
say
probably
that,
the only time all year we're going to talk golf.
yeah,
I would
literally the only time, and it's the
I would
first
venture to
episode
say
ever.
that
That's
that's the only
crazy.
time.
That's the first thing we're jumping off with, and then probably never reach it again until
Masters
probably
Sunday.
next year.
Yep, next Masters. We'll see you guys again next Masters. Unless there's an all-time Rory collapse, then we will touch on that next week. But
Unless someone pisses in the fucking creek again,
shout out to
which
ASU for that.
shout out ASU boy, backwards hat. Did you see the
Upset.
weird like the rules at the Masters? It's what's like the unspoken rules.
No.
It's like no cheering, no backwards hats. You can't take any like piece of the ground. Like someone last year took a little cut of like the grass and got fined 20K.
Oh my God.
I know. And then there was I forgot what the other one was. But it's just I mean, obviously no cell phones. It's like one of the
Yeah.
best traditions in sports in my opinion because they pulled up a side by side on X. It was I forgot who it was. Someone was putting, and then it was LeBron's like record breaking to break the points. And it was like everyone just like this, and
Except
then
for
like
Phil Knight.
that is true. Phil
I've
Knight.
seen
I don't
that
even know if
picture.
Phil Knight has a phone. Let's be honest.
He
He's
might
definitely
not.
got like one of those cricket phones where the
Yeah.
numbers are like. times seven.
He's a Portland guy through and through.
He is a Portland guy through and through. He's
I
probably
know
hurting
G-
right now with the tariffs, though. I'm not gonna lie.
we might not touch on tariffs. The unless you got some tariff takes.
I, I mean, I just know it's bad, man. It's
I
getting
don't know
bad.
anything about it.
The stock market's back up. That's about it. But we don't need to.
Shout out to that.
Wait,
But the phone thing is so this is kind of a sidebar. We didn't talk about this, but Masters, I've always wanted to go to the Masters, even though I'm not a big golf guy. I think that's like a top event that I like to go to because the no phones, it's 4 days. The food is like super cheap. Everybody talks about how great an experience it is. Would you go if you had the choice? Somebody could take you for free. Super Bowl in a suite, Masters tickets for 4 days, awesome dinners, or World Series. You can go. It's guaranteed. It's a game seven, and you're going to be game seven right behind home plate.
so World Series, I only get Game 7. I don't get the whole series.
No, you get the whole series, but you don't know how it gets to 7 games, but it's guaranteed 7 games, and you're behind home plate the whole time.
I think the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I think it depends who's in it. Because
yeah,
I'm not going for a Patty Mahomes another Super
yeah.
Bowl.
I think it would depend on who's in it too. I This one's tough. I think people would probably argue because I'm going to say I would probably go either the Masters or the World Series because of the length of it,
Yeah,
like 4 days versus, a couple weeks of the World Series. People would argue that the Super Bowl is like a week-long event if you're in the city that it's in, but I've been in a city that it's in Phoenix, and like those events are impossible to get into, the ones you actually want to go to. The ones that are like
yeah,
available to the public are not fun.
yeah.
And the ones you actually want to go to are like very exclusive. So I think I would probably go World Series. It's 7 games right behind home plate. I don't even care who's in it. I mean, if it's the Yankees, even better. But if
Facts.
it's, I mean, those are just fun games. All right, that was a little sidebar.
I actually had that conversation yesterday with my girlfriend. We talked about that, and I was like, I actually have no fucking clue, honestly.
Yeah,
Like, obviously, Steelers Super Bowl, and honestly, I would go to a Pirates fucking World Series, but I know that that'll never happen.
could.
I would low key go to a Yankees World Series too, especially if they choked. That would be crazy.
That is typically what happens during my lifetime.
Yes.
Um,
At least you saw one in your lifetime.
yeah, I was 9. It was
We're
awesome.
we're fortunate enough to see a Seahawks Super Bowl and a Steelers Super Bowl in our lifetime too.
And one that they played against
Together.
each other. I got to be honest, I barely remember that one. I was 5,
I
but
was also 5 and I barely remember it, but I know I got slandered the rest of my life about how the Steelers were cheating and they paid off the refs. I got bullied
yes,
so much in school about it.
as you should have. Yes,
That is true. It
as you
was
should have.
I was just getting ganged up on, honestly. Like everyone just was fans of whoever their dad's team was, and I was like
Yeah,
just trying to defend my dad, man, honestly.
have to defend. Dad, I'm defending your honor at the lunch
Literally,
table. You don't
literally.
understand. Um, but yeah, that's probably the last we're going to talk Masters, but I had to have a little Masters talk.
Mm-hmm.
Much more NBA talk. Let's talk playoffs. Sleeper
Yas.
teams. Obviously, right
Yas.
now in the West, we don't really know who the matchups are going to be. There could still be a ton of different play-in situations. Warriors, Clippers is going to decide a lot today, but the East is set. Do you have a team in the East and then a team in the West that you're watching, depending on how it shakes out today, that you think nobody's talking about as much that could make a run?
Mm, as far as making a run,
And when I say run, I mean like Western Conference Finals, Eastern Conference Finals, like not necessarily making it to the finals, but like a team that you're like, last year the Pacers, it was like, whoa, they're in the Eastern Conference Finals. Like nobody expected that. Do you have a team like that this year?
I think the Pacers low key could do it again. But for me, I think the Pacers is kind of everyone's sleeper team, really. But
Yeah.
I honestly think the Bucks could do it again just because they've been playing like complete ass all season and they still got the fifth seed. And then they're starting to turn it around a little bit. But I think it's just as far as how they come out. Like if they come out slow in the playoffs again, then like they're not making it very far.
Any team with Giannis is scary just because
Yeah,
he can just go to kind of just decide that it's going to be his series. I
yeah,
mean, I think Giannis on his own could win a series, but they play it's Pacers Bucks first round. I'm pretty
yeah.
sure.
So
Yeah,
honestly, whoever makes it out of that series, I think,
you like.
could make a run. I do like the Cavs, and I would not be mad if the Cavs won it out of the East.
Yeah,
And I definitely don't want the Celtics to, just because I'm Jason Tatum hater.
no
And
aura.
dude, fucking after he won it, I was like, all right, sick. But then he did the whole, we did it. I'm like, bro, come on.
He's just he's a great player. Just quickly on Jason Tatum. I like watching Jason Tatum play basketball, but he is a really boring personality.
Yes,
And you can tell he's really trying to not be boring, but he just is it's okay to be you're a boring guy. Tim
dude,
Duncan was boring. He was awesome. He was
facts.
boring.
Dude, his kid has more aura than he does, in my opinion.
Deuce.
Deuce
Yeah.
is a fucking menace.
I do have to defend Tatum though, just being he's from St. Louis, and I grew up just outside St. Louis, so I feel like I have to defend him all the time. But
You do.
he he's boring though. He's
I love
boring.
I love all the memes of his jumpers. People like fucking humping the ball, dude. That's awesome. That's the
He
only
does have
thing
a
good that
hitch.
comes out of it.
He does have a hitch. I don't know how it goes in, but
He
I
does have
agree
a
with
hitch,
you
man.
on the Bucks because Giannis can just decide, well, this series is my series, so I'm just going to take it.
I
So I
think the
agree on that.
Knicks are a boo-boo team, in my opinion.
Knicks need to watch themselves in this first series against the Pistons. I'm not saying the Pistons are going to beat them, but I think the Knicks, like this is a series that could go 6 or 7 and be like
Yeah,
a fight, like a fist fight. Because
yeah,
the Pistons, an actual fist fight, the Pistons will fight you. But
100%.
they, the Pistons play a really physical brand of basketball, and the Knicks never take their starters out. So I just think even if the Knicks win the series as they should, I think they're going to be exhausted going into a round two matchup.
Yeah.
Um,
Because
so
who would they play in a round two matchup? Would it be oh, they would play the winner of the play-in and Celtics.
so Celtics round two matchup is that's a terrible matchup for the Knicks if they get the
Yeah,
Celtics in round two.
yeah.
That's awful. They can't deal with like the length like Jalen Brown, Kristaps, um, Tatum. Like they just not OG Anunoby will do a disappearing act if that's the series.
100%. Cat will
You'll,
probably get hurt or some shit.
Big purr.
Big purr.
Um,
And you know
no, I like
Jalen
that.
Brunson's winning the Clutch Player of the Year award.
I do root for Brunson. But yeah, no, I agree. I think the Bucks are a decent sleeper team, even without Damian Lillard. They have a lot of those guys have been in big playoff series. Even Kuzma with the
Mm-hmm.
Lakers was in big playoff series. I'm not saying he's like a great, the best or anything like that, but
Wasn't that the
I,
bubble though?
yeah, it was the bubble. So that's different, I guess. It's different when it's the bubble, but
Asterix. Asterix ass fucking shit.
yeah, Disney, Disney, literally Disney. It was in Florida.
Yeah.
Disney title. And then the West. What are you feeling in the West?
The West, I have huge sleeper in the West. Just because for some reason I feel like the Clippers were always on just TNT, whatever, just the NBA game of
Yeah,
the night kind of thing. And I low key in the beginning of the year when it was just Harden and Kawhi was still hurt, I was really impressed by Harden just because I feel like he knows that he's getting to a like older in his career or like later in his career, so he's like, I can't take 40 shots a game, dude. And he's like dishing it now. So he had a couple games this year where he went like 20 and 20 or at least close to that. And it's like if he keeps doing that in the playoffs, especially with Kawhi back and Zubac is a dog, like I think they could easily make a run. Especially with the West, it looks so weak right now. And with the Thunder dropping who did they just lose to? I forgot. They lost to a boo boo ass team. But with all their starters in too, and like I think the West is completely open.
the West is wide open to me too. I OKC like all of their numbers and all their metrics would suggest that they're a historically great team that they're going to go make a run to the title easily. But I can't. I know they had some playoff scars last year against Dallas and they lost, and that was a big series. But I just can't help but think there are teams in the West that are super veteran heavy, like the Warriors, the Clippers, the Lakers, that I think could make a run over them just because of the experience. I know that's like a lazy argument, but the experience in the playoffs and just the way that, they have an awesome bench. They're super deep, but I just think in the playoffs it comes down to your like 6, 7, maybe 8 man rotation.
Yeah.
Um, and theirs is one of the best in that term in terms of that, but it's just going to depend on if they're pressing the right buttons and getting the right people in that rotation that are hot at the right time.
Yeah. And
Um,
then looking at the Nuggets, dude, they have, like you said, they have one of the worst, like 8, 9, 10 guys off the bench. Like
mhm.
I forgot who I was listening to, but it was like, how many All-Stars has um Jokic played with? And zero.
Yeah, because Murray's never been an all-star, right? He's always
Yeah,
been hurt.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
They had, well, Contavious Caldwell-Pope was one six man of the year, and that was it.
And that
And,
was, I mean, that was the year they won it. I'm pretty
yeah.
sure.
And that
Yeah.
was the only help he's ever had. So it's like if Zubac can do his thing against Jokic, I think it'll
Yep.
be an
Clip.
easy sweep for them.
Yeah, the
Not
Clippers
sweep,
should be
but
able
win the
to.
series.
They should be able to take care of the Nuggets because it's all just going to be Yoke. And I love Joker. Obviously, I'm a Joker guy. I think he should be. I think he should be the MVP. I know he's not going to be, but I just think he
Yeah.
should. And but Zubac is a big body that can actually match him physically. And Zoo has been awesome this year.
Zoo's been
He's been
killing
a
it.
double double machine. Really
Yes.
good defensively. He anchors them defensively. I agree with you on Harden. He's been much less like heliocentric. It hasn't been all about him all the time.
Yeah.
In terms of just like handling the ball. And they have really good like defenders that play the wings. Derrick Jones Jr.
Hmm.
Even Nunn has played really well off the bench.
Yeah.
Ty Lue is a good coach still. I know he's been there forever, and people like to hate on Ty Lue, but he's a really good coach still. Um, so I agree on that. My sleeper out of the West is the Warriors. As long as they can stay out of the play-in, I really don't want them with
Yeah.
how veteran heavy they are to be having to play an extra game or two in the play-in. So it's going to depend on what happens against the Clips today, but I like them with Draymond, Jimmy, when they can play small, and we saw it against the Lakers late in the season, like because the Lakers want to go small because they don't have the true
Yeah.
center. But
Hmm.
when the Warriors can go small and play Draymond at the 5, it's kind of ridiculous. Like there's really no stopping them. And then Draymond plays such a ridiculous brand of defensive basketball, and he's allowed to get away with. I mean, we can say that he's allowed to get away with way more than anybody else.
Seriously.
Because he's just in the ref's ear the whole time. They don't want to hear it. Um, and so they let him just maul guys that are bigger than him down low.
Yeah.
And he gets away with it. So I like the Warriors to potentially make a run to like the Western Conference Finals. And then anything can happen in a series with them. If Steph decides to go crazy, Draymond can keep his head on straight. And Jimmy Butler has been one of the best playoff performers of the last, decade or so. So
Yes, sir.
I like the Warriors in the West, other than OKC, obviously. So
I think it's gonna be weird who comes out of that Lakers Warriors series just because, like you said, they do play small. So it's like, are they just gonna get fucking bodied in the post? Which is really weird because when watching the Lakers play the Mavs, I mean, obviously the Mavs have decent size and the Lakers destroyed them, but that was a lot of help from Luka obviously dropping 45, but still, like, I think that's a crazy, like, both of them are do play small this season, and like, what are they going to do out of that first round?
yeah, the Lakers would prefer to play Rui at the 5 and not have to play Hayes big minutes. But
Yeah.
then beyond Hayes, they really don't have anything. I think it's like literally Alex Len. I see him on their bench
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, stand up. He's big and tall, but um, there's nothing beyond him. So I think the like a Warriors Lakers matchup would be interesting. Whoever comes out of that, I think would have a tough time with the Clippers, Minnesota, or um, Denver because they'd have to go big, and they're not built to do that. So
Yeah.
it would be interesting because we've seen
Um,
smaller lineups. Sometimes they can play guys off the floor though. Like if the Warriors are moving too much and Zoo looks like a liability, all of a sudden Zoo's not playing. Rudy with Minnesota all of a sudden is not playing because they're moving too quick. So it'll be interesting. That's what's fun about playoff basketball. You get 7 games and kind of game planning for each team's specific what they do well. So we'll have to see what happens in the West, but needed to touch on that a little bit going in, get our sleepers on the board.
I was gonna say,
Um,
dude, in that series though, I'm taking every over because no one is playing
yeah,
defense.
in a Lakers Warriors series,
Yeah.
I think what's weird is like there was that stretch where the Lakers were like one of the top ranked defenses after they traded for Luka, but
Mm-hmm.
they weren't playing anybody, and I think a lot of it was just like effort. To
Yeah.
be honest, like it was just effort and intensity. They don't actually have like I don't expect LeBron to be locked in defensively for a full 7 game series when he also has to play that well on offense. Same with
Oh hell
Luka.
yeah.
So, and then Steph obviously needs to hide. The only guy that's going to be playing consistent defense is Draymond.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be a psycho for sure, but he kind of tones it down against LeBron. That's like his buddy, you
That is
know.
his buddy, but you never know what's gonna happen in the offs, especially if it gets close, dude.
Yeah.
Like
No,
you
it'll
never
be it'll
know.
be interesting to see how that goes.
I would love to see just a kick to the nuts again, just classic Draymond, dude. Especially if it was LeBron, that shit would be
Yeah,
amazing. Can I bet on that?
if
Fuck.
LeBron gets kicked in the nuts, what's the over under on how long he lays on the ground as the
Oh,
camera
dude.
pans out?
Oh, it's at least. I'm giving it
15
at
seconds?
15
Like,
seconds. I was gonna say minutes. I was gonna say at least
yeah.
2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah, I might have gone too low. But he does if he gets hit, tapped in a way,
Oh
he
yeah.
lays there. My favorite is when he starts checking for blood and there's
Yes.
no there's
Or like
no
he
blood.
rubs his face all the time. God,
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I hope they give us odds for that. I'll be all over that.
that would be crazy. Would be
Definitely.
crazy. Who's
Speaking of oh,
who's
go
the
ahead.
best odds to win the championship right now? Is it
OKC.
the,
It's
just
OKC.
crazy?
OKC and the Celtics are basically the same, and there's like no value on it. It's like plus. It's because I was checking a couple days ago.
Let me see
Yeah,
what it is right
futures. Let's
now.
see.
Yeah, Thunder's plus 165, Celtics are plus 205.
Yeah. So, I placed a bet a couple weeks ago on Minnesota just as a flyer at plus 6,000 to win the whole thing, and then on the Clippers at plus 5,000 to win the whole thing. So with the
I
Suns
don't
out of
hate
it,
that. I
I'll be
might put
rooting for
something on the
them.
Clippers, I'm not gonna lie. Plus 4,500 right now.
I don't mind it.
I don't
I
mind
don't
it
mind
either,
it.
dude.
Um, while we're talking futures, I'm just looking at mine right now. We can switch gears to the draft. I placed a bet a couple weeks ago on Jackson Dart to be taken in the first 24 picks of the draft at under 24 and a half for his pick. Super juiced on that all of a sudden. It
I
seems
was
like
gonna
they
say,
think he's
did
going to
you get
go.
that? Did you get that really early?
I got it, let's see, a couple weeks ago. So it was at minus 155 at that time. Now it's like minus 200. So I'm not saying to bet it, but I'm saying I think Dart's going to go. I think he could go in the top 10
He
when we get
definitely
down to
is.
it
If he's not going to the Saints, he's going to the Steelers, which is
at
scary
21.
enough to say.
Do you think they'd have to move up to get him, or do you think they could just sit and wait at 21? Because who's in
I'm,
between them that could actually take a quarterback? It's really just maybe Seattle if they wanted to, if they really liked him that much at
I
18.
mean, Seattle, that would be crazy for Seattle to not get an
Be
offensive lineman and get a
be a weird
quarterback,
move,
especially just giving Darnold that money, dude.
especially because they just signed Drew Lock. They have Sam Howell, who's younger than a lot of these guys coming out of the draft still.
Yeah.
It's not like they need a young guy, but that's the only team in between you. Like if he gets past the Saints at 9, the only team I can see in between that would maybe take him is maybe the Seahawks, or if a team trades back into the first round, like if the Browns trade back in or the Jets trade back in.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys might. I mean, it'd be nice if you could just sit at 21 and then take him.
Dude, the
Um,
thing is, like, I don't mind if we take him. I don't know who's gonna develop him. Like, obviously, we don't have that Like, do you think Mason Rudolph's really gonna develop him, man? He already went through the same shit with Kenny. It's like, I mean, he didn't develop Kenny, but he was in that room with them battling. I'm like, dude, give him a year. Just let him go.
I think Dart would come in and probably win the locker room over way more than I don't know anything about Mason Rudolph, but everything I read about Dart says that like and all his teammates at Ole Miss and at USC even basically say that he's like the best leader that they've had and
Yeah,
that he's super likable in the locker room. So I think whoever takes him, it's going to be tough to keep him off the field for a whole year to develop, but especially if the team struggles a little bit.
dude. Yeah.
Um, but if he comes in, like let's say the Steelers do take him and he comes in and like wins over DK and Pickens and like they like him, then you kind of have to start him early at that point, even if he's not ready.
Yeah.
Um, but I agree he should sit. He reminds me of Jalen Hurts.
I was gonna say Jalen Hurts, and the Steelers had the chance to take Jalen Hurts too, dude.
I thought they were going to that year and then let him sit.
Who did they take instead? Did they take? It wasn't Kenny, was it?
No, that year was
Was it Najee?
no, I can't remember because it was a second round pick. Whoever they took in the second round that year, I can't remember,
Oh,
but
dude, it was Chase Claypool.
oh,
That's
Steelers legend,
exactly who it was. It was Chase
Steel,
fucking Claypool. I don't even know where he's at right now. That's
Steelers
someone that
legend. I think he's.
that.
I don't think he's on a team because
No,
he
I
was
think
with the
he got
Dolphins for
cut.
a bit. He was with the Dolphins for a bit, um, but I don't think he ever actually really played for them, and I don't know if he's on a team right now.
That's one of the most like I've only seen that a couple times in like all the Steelers lore and everything I'm on X. Only seen it one time, and I think it's just because we've heard so much with quarterbacks, so it's like they don't even want to dive back into that.
Yeah, I think the Hurts thing too is, I mean, it also has to do with the fact that the Eagles have the best, they've had one of the best offensive lines. They have an awesome run game. They've had really good offensive play callers, and they have developed them really well and like
Yeah,
instilled them with confidence. But they run an offense that's like built for him. Who's to
yeah,
say the Steelers were going to do that? Like the offensive coordinators that you guys have had over the
fucking
past
terrible.
since Jalen Hurts has been drafted, but this is, I mean, I see Jackson Dart as kind of, obviously Jalen Hurts won a Super Bowl. He's in a different situation, but Dart, I think, could at his ceiling be like a Jalen Hurts type player. He runs in a similar way. He's similar body type. They kind of throw the ball really deliberately. They have like similar, even like their mechanics are similar.
Hmm.
And Dart is definitely going to have to develop as a passer, um, in the league because playing in at Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin's offense is very like backyard football, make one read. If that's not there, like we're going to run around kind of air
Yeah,
raid. So he's going to take a minute to develop into the passer that he needs to be. But I personally think the Saints take him at 9.
it'd be smart, dude. It'd be like taking Shador at 9 would be such a like risky move for them.
The
And
reason I don't see it with Shadour with them is because who just took over a head coach for the Saints? Kellen Moore.
yes, sir,
Kellen Moore
Boise State
was
legend.
Boise State legend Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore was who's he been the OC with? The
Cowboys.
Cowboys, the Chargers, and then the Eagles last
I
year.
was gonna say the Eagles last year.
I'd say Jalen Hurts is closer to Dak and Jalen Hurts than, as in terms of like his ceiling, one of those types of players than Shador. Obviously, Shador is a way different player than either of them. He's not very mobile.
Yeah,
He's actually that's a liability is his mobility. Um, he's more of a pocket passer timing. Kellen Moore runs more of like an RPO, quick game type of offense. I think
mm-hmm.
and then with deep shots mixed in on play action, I think that's way more conducive to Jackson Dart's skill set than Shador. Shador fits more in with like Shador reminds me of Kirk Cousins,
Yes.
like good Kirk Cousins, like timing routes. He's really accurate, but he needs to get it out quick and he needs to have a good offensive line.
Yeah.
He would fit more in like a Kevin Stefanski. Like I'm not saying the Browns are going to take him at 2, obviously, but like if the Browns wanted to get back into the first round or somehow find a way to get Shador later, I see him fitting in way more with a guy like that, who's
Mm-hmm.
like a timing, um, you know, 3-step drop, balls out type of offense. I don't know what do you see with that with Shador?
I think with Shador, definitely what you said with Jackson Dart with the Saints would fit more. Um, But as far as like Shador and getting the ball out quick, and I think that's everything that the Steelers are looking for right now is just get the ball into a receiver's hands and literally like let them do whatever. Like having DK, George Pickens, and even Calvin Austin as their three, like those all three of those guys with the ball having the ball in space, like I think they're like doing dangerous things. But just not having a guy that can really get it to him like Russ. I mean, Russ had the fucking moon balls last year,
Yeah.
and that was it. And it was like a 50-50 chance George Pickens was coming down with it. And
Yep. And he
then
had no intermediate game. That's the thing. It
no,
was either deep ball or behind the line of scrimmage.
nothing over the middle either. That's
Yep.
one thing the Steelers been struggling with for I don't even know since Ben left. Is they couldn't
Yeah.
get anything over the middle, or they're just getting sacked because they have the ball too long in the fucking pocket. So it's like I
Yep.
think they're getting looking for a guy like you said, three-step drop, get the ball out of your hands, let the receivers do what they need to do, and like maybe a deep ball threat. And I don't know if Shadour has that, but deep ball threat, accurate, over the middle of the field. Like I literally think the Steelers are just looking for another Ben, and that's
Shador
what they've
throws a
been
good
searching for.
Shador throws a good deep ball. Big Ben is actually a decent comp for Shador. Shador's not as big, but he takes those huge hits and like just gets back up. He's super tough. I mean, the
Yeah,
biggest thing with Shador for me when I watch him is like the positives are extremely tough. Terrible offensive line. He was getting killed. Some of that was on him for holding the ball too long and drifting and trying to make a play when there's nothing there, but a lot of it was he was just getting killed. Doesn't throw the best, like he doesn't have the biggest arm, but he does throw an accurate deep ball and he's on
yeah.
time all the time and has elite ball placement. So like he puts it where it's an easy catch. The receivers don't have to work for it. You want to talk about coming in and winning a locker room. I think if the Steelers waited and then got Shador at 20 or 21, I think he would come in and take over the locker room. I think DK, Pickens, Muth, all those guys would buy into. He's super confident. I think he would just come in and take the job because he would believe it was his. Like, you think he's going to look at Mason Rudolph and be like, "Well, I need to sit behind this guy and learn for a couple of weeks, and then I'll be in." No, he's going to come in and just take the job. I think
I
if
will
you guys took
defend.
him,
I will defend my boy Mason, man. He had a great end of the year. What 2024?
hmm
And he's the only winning quarterback I've seen when I've gone to a game in
only guy I've
Seattle.
seen try and fight Miles Garrett as
The
well.
biggest dude in the fucking league.
The scariest, one of the scariest guys in
He's
the league.
he's got some nuts, man. He's got some nuts. But
Yeah, we'll
I
see.
mean,
The
yeah,
Steelers
we
could
will
go a
see.
number of ways at 21. If they don't go quarterback, what do you think? Where do they go?
They've been saying I don't think they'd take a running back that, but the receiver from Mizzou, forgot his
Luther?
name. Yeah,
Luther
they're talking
Burden?
about him, which is I don't necessarily like it just because they re-signed all of their wide receivers essentially, and I mean Pickens is on his way out, and Calvin Austin still has 2 more years on his rookie contract, so it's like
Yeah.
they can really go anywhere. I wouldn't hate a quarterback in the first round. Honestly, I wish they would be like all the other boring ass teams and just take an offensive lineman.
Or another
Um,
pass rusher. Start preparing for some of the all the pass rushers are older, getting older. Even your guy, I think you could never have too many pass rushers, and there's some pretty good ones that'll be available late in the first.
let's say we probably have to touch on the
The
TJ
Watt.
Watt, the encrypted Instagram story.
Yeah. So how are you feeling? So what's his contract status? Does he just want a new contract? Is that what it
I
is?
think he just wants a new contract, but I feel like there's been so much wind of him maybe getting traded for some picks
Yeah.
that I am so afraid the Steelers are going to do something really fucking dumb and give him to the Titans so we get the number one pick and we
Wow.
just take, yeah. Like
That would
that would be
be.
crazy. If we
I
got the
mean,
number one pick and we took Ward,
well, that
I
would
w-
be exciting
that would be very, very exciting.
because I
But I
like Ward.
also am like kind of scared of Ward just because the whole like lackadaisical,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just not
But
Steelers. It's not that blue blood or not blue blood, but
yeah.
blue collar man. Like
Yeah. He does come in and work hard though. Everything I read about Ward is like really positive when it comes to that. That like he came in and was a good leader too.
uh,
That's what's interesting about this QB class is people kind of hated on it coming in, but I think we're going to end up seeing quite a few of them, maybe four of them go in the first round. And everyone I read about says like great leader, teammates like really love him. And that's not, you don't always hear that with the quarterbacks. I know it kind of sounds like just, cliche with the quarterbacks, but you don't always hear that coming in. I mean, there's
Mhm.
been guys in the past, like Justin Herbert was a guy, they were like, he's kind of quiet, and you still hear that about him. He's awesome, but
Herb's Herb's the
there's
man.
definitely some stuff like that that comes out negatively with the quarterbacks too. Yeah, the Steelers are going to be one of the most fun teams to watch when it comes to the draft. The Seahawks probably not as much excitement with our pick. If we should just keep it simple and go O line. I would love if like Banks, the
Hmm.
tackle from Texas, would fall because it sounds like he should start out as a guard and then maybe develop into a tackle. I think that gives us help this year at guard, and then potentially as we have Charles Cross and Abe Lucas that are going to be up for a new contract after this year. If either of them is too much money or they don't play very well, then Banks could kick out to tackle after the year. So that gives us help in both areas, I think. Um, we should just keep it boring like that. We might even trade back if there's a way to move back. I mean, Schneider always is into that. But we have so many picks that he could also be a guy who moves up if he likes a certain player at a certain spot. So they should just keep it simple and go on the line. I'd be happy on either side of the line though in the first round. If one of the pass rushers falls, you could never have too many rushers. So I'll honestly take whoever as long as it's on the line, unless somebody crazy falls. Like if Tyler Warren falls, it's like okay, at 18, kind of have to take Warren at that point if he falls that far, even though we
Yeah.
don't need a tight end necessarily. Um,
For the Seahawks, I'm kind of hoping that Sam Darnold has a year so you guys can start stacking up on defense again.
that's the thing is with McDonald at head coach, I think the vision is pretty clear. I think Hawks fans have kind of been split on like the quarterback situation. Like, should we just have kept Gino or getting Darnold? He's younger, yeah, but how much of an upgrade? I think they're missing the point that it doesn't, even if he plays just as good as, Gino did the last couple of years. I think the point is we're going to try and run the ball more with like a zone scheme and then, just feed Sharp and Walker. And then I think we're going to just try and play. The defense was awesome down the stretch last year. I think we're going to add to the defense in the draft. We already did add in free agency with Demarcus Lawrence coming to town. I think we're going to just rely on the defense and run the ball a lot, and then just hope Darnold can basically just not turn the ball over and have half the year he had last year in Minnesota. Try and load up on the line and run the ball a little bit more. That's what I see happening. Um, I'll be rooting for Darnold. I liked Darnold when he came out. I think he had a tough situation with the Jets. I don't think he's as unless he's with a coach like he was last year with the Vikings. I don't think he's as good as last year ever in his career again.
Yeah.
But I do think he could be 75% of that on a good Seahawks team with a good run game. So we'll have to see. But obviously, I hope we just stay boring and go with offensive line or somebody on the D line as a pass rusher. So
I was gonna say the only thing that's scary about that is a wide receiver room because I mean the Seahawks have a good wide receiver room. It's gonna be weird with DK and Lockagon, but like Jackson Smith and Jigma, and honestly, I think Bobo's gonna have a crazy year.
Bobo, more Bobo. Yeah, Bobo in the red zone is the man. He just can't separate. He's big though. He's big in
Yeah.
the red zone. Like he could have a few big red zone catches. I think Cup's gonna have a bounce back year. I think hopefully we're not gonna ask him to be on the field too much in terms of like his health. I
God,
think
I
it'd be
totally
better to
forgot
kind of
about Cooper
just
Cup.
ease him in, and then if we're looking to make a run in the playoffs, kind of have him just be ready for late in the season, hopefully,
Yeah.
because he's been an injury liability. That's the biggest thing. I still think he has something left in the tank though, in terms of just knowing how to get open.
Oh, I agree.
He's not gonna like run by you anymore at this point in his career, but he knows, kind of similar to like Travis Kelsey with the Chiefs. It's like physically he's diminishing, but he still knows how to find a soft spot and get open, and he's not going to drop the ball. So
Yeah.
I was happy with the Cup signing, even though it kind of gives us two smaller, more slot oriented receivers within Jigba and Cup.
Yeah.
But
I think
like I
Njigba
said,
can be more of a deep threat than Cooper Cup can. Like I think Cooper
definitely.
Cup's gonna be good in space,
I think
but
Jigba can be a real number one. I know people think he's more of a two, but I think he can be, based on last year, like when DK was out, he was a real number one. He was good.
oh yeah, he was good.
So, and they
Also,
both
I
block.
wanna just say that the Yankees choked their 3-0 lead. It's
Is
four
that
to three
currently
now.
happening?
Yep,
Nice.
we're
Shout out
done.
to Carlos Rodon for that. I'm sure he's pitching great. Can we talk about how well, now we have to switch gears. Can we talk about how the Yankees have like three terrorists on their pitching staff? Marcus Stroman,
Yeah,
Carlos Rodon, and Will Warren are
dude.
like terrorists sent to like ruin the Yankees season.
The fucking all of the tweets it's like Rodon leave or not Rodon, but Stroman leaving the stadium and like people like choking him out and throwing him and shit.
Yes.
So
And I
fucking
saw
funny.
something today that was like a fake article and it was like Stroman's MRI comes back clean. Yankees playoff odds drop. I'm like, all right. And
Sick.
honestly, I would believe that even if it wasn't just a fake article. Because quick Yankees talk, the pitching staff was supposed to be the strength, and now it's rough with Cole being
Hmm.
out for the year. Schmidt still not, Clark Schmidt still not being back, and then Luis Heel. God bless me, best tattoo in the game right here. He's out until July. Um, we were supposed to have an awesome rotation with Freed. Like Rodon wasn't supposed to have a lot on his plate, which is crazy to say about a guy who signed a 6-year deal
I feel like that's
that
what the
we're
Yankees
basically
do though.
the Freed deal looks like it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
He seems like he's going to age pretty well, and I like that the way he's been thrown. He's obviously been the only guy that's been consistent, but the Rodon deal has been just trash since we he. I know last year he had 16 wins and he was a little bit better, but then when it mattered in the playoffs, I felt like he shrunk. He's and he's been awful this year, like just awful. Stroman, what I mean, whatever. I that guy I don't care if I never hear from him again.
What is
And
it?
I
What
don't.
is his deal? Is he on like a 2 year?
This is the last year of a 2-year deal. I think it was
So I
like
thought.
14 million, and then there's incentives, so it wasn't like a big deal or anything. But
You
he
know he ain't
just,
getting those incentives though.
yeah, he gives you nothing. He gives you
Yeah,
nothing on the mound. And then Will
literally.
Warren is just not ready. He's like one of our better pitching prospects, but he's not ready.
Hmm.
And it's pretty obvious. I mean, I know he pitched a little better yesterday, but it was also like pouring rain and the wind was blowing in and nothing was going anywhere.
That
So
was a weird game yesterday.
very odd game.
Yeah.
Um,
The Yankees have been playing some weird games, dude.
Tell me
Like
about it, dude. I
for having
and
one of the best offenses in baseball, and
then just
losing
they
I
go to
mean they got off
sleep.
to a hot start, but now they're like dormant. Like
They go
nothing
to
is
sleep on
happening.
offense. Like they have these they're one of the most hot and cold teams. And the only thing consistent ever is Judge. This year,
Literally.
Goldschmidt's been consistent as a hitter too, but like
I mean
Jazz
your
right
young
now,
guys too are doing decent. Like
yeah.
Wells and Grisham haven't been doing the worst.
And then but then Jazz right now, like he started off hot and he's 0 for his last 25, I think. Now,
Yeah. And if Cody doesn't eat those chicken wings, man.
if Cody didn't eat those chicken wings, are the Yankees undefeated? No.
Yes.
Cody did. I like that he ate them again the next day.
Yeah, you just, I mean, you got to go back
Round
to the
two.
well, man. You got to see if it
Ra-
was actually the chicken wings.
Round
Because
two.
he could have some leftovers or something that he didn't know. That was like, damn, that's what actually got me.
Real
I think
quick
it was
shout
just
out.
was better for the media that he just said chicken
Yeah.
wings.
Real quick shout out to the Wizards. Bub Carrington just hit a game winner against the
Love
Heat.
that. Love that
Um,
for Bub.
but yeah, that's quick Yankees talk. Our season is depressing. Pretty much ever since spring training when Garrett Cole went out for the year.
Hmm.
I
That
kind of
was
knew
a
we weren't
tough.
obviously going to return to the World Series at that point, just because with him and then Schmidt going down and Heel, the rotation just takes such a big hit. Like we have to, Carlos Carrasco has to start games for us sometimes. Like
Yeah.
it's not in the cards this year. That's fine as long as the Red Sox don't win the division.
Hmm.
I'm fine with that. Um, but hopefully we get those guys back, especially Heel. Heel's my guy.
I
Best
mean,
tattoo in the game.
the
God
league
bless
this
me.
year, I know. God bless me. I the league, I feel like is wide open this year because even the Dodgers have been losing weird games, and you think the Dodgers would like just
You know
blow
what's
everyone out
weird
of the
about the
water.
Dodgers? What's weird about the Dodgers is like so I know the Dodgers are good and they have an awesome pitching staff and I know they score a lot of runs, but when I turn on a game and it's like, oh, Dodgers, here's their starting lineup, I'm never like, oh wow, that's like that lineup is awesome. Like it's
Yeah.
basically Mookie, Shohei, Freddie when he's healthy, and then I'm just like,
Teoscar.
oh, Chris
Teoscar's been
Taylor,
playing good.
Teoscar, yeah. But then I'm like, oh, Chris Taylor's still there. Nice. Will Smith,
Hmm.
cool. Like
Nice.
it's just these guys where I'm like, are they really that good? I think the Dodgers are just that good at coaching people up and developing players.
That is true. And it helps when you have a pretty decent staff, like in the pen and your starting rotation. Because
That's
once you
what's
get into
yeah,
playoffs, it's like, dude, it's all about your rotation. If guys can just fill it up.
rotation in the pen. If you have like a pen that's just like consistent and you can take a guy out in the fourth inning and then still win the game, you know?
I mean, and that's the only reason. I mean, pretty much that the only reason Dodgers have been winning like
I
the
know.
last couple of years is just straight rotation in the playoffs and their
That's
pen.
what's crazy about the Dodgers is like not only are they the team that is willing to spend the most money and they're in the best location where players want to go, they also are awesome at drafting and developing and signing international players. And then like
Hmm.
so they have it coming from both sides. Whereas like the Yankees, the Mets to a certain extent, like other teams that are willing to spend money are not developing guys and putting as much resources into that as the Dodgers are. So the Dodgers are like set to they can survive bad contracts because they have guys that come up in the organization too. It's like and then they get guy they shout out Tommy Edman because Tommy Edman played for the Cardinals and he was inconsistent and not that good. And then he goes to the Dodgers and I don't know what they do, but something clicks when you go there and they help you out with your swing. And he's been a stud for them basically
Well,
ever since he went there.
yeah, it's. I mean, it is a lot easier when you're hitting after Shohei, you're
You have guys
hitting
behind
after
you.
Mookie. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
I mean, it takes a lot of pressure off you because like he was kind of the guy, and
Yeah.
then
With the
now
Cardinals.
now
Yeah.
he's the Dodgers and he's a role player. He's like, yeah, we need you to hit like maybe 250 and like
Yep.
maybe 15 bombs, and like we're gonna win a World Series.
And he's like, I'll do you one better. I'll hit close to 300 and I'll hit 20 bombs. How about
Literally,
that? And it's
literally.
like, all right, cool. No, I
Yeah.
know. I
And
can't.
then,
Yeah.
I mean, with the international thing, I think it's just easy because, like, I feel like a lot of international teams, it's like, do you want to come play for the Dodgers? And it's like,
Yes.
hell yes. Like,
Do I want to live in Los Angeles and play for like the best team? Yes.
yes.
I would like to
Uh,
do that. Yes.
yeah. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, anybody's right mind. Like, they can get whoever they want. And I mean, same thing with the Yankees, but I think the Yankees are just, they get everyone that's on their way out and they hope they have a couple good years in it. But
The
like,
Yankees get
Dodgers are
guys.
making moves.
The Yankees get guys that, like you said, they're like on their second or third contract, usually their third contract or something like that, like their first big one. And it's never like a guy that's in his prime, other than when we got Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole was in his prime when we got him, and he was
Hmm.
still awesome last
That was
year.
a great signing.
But he grew up a Yankees fan. Like we have to find these guys. Like we have to basically rely on guys that grew up Yankees fans because New York is not as attractive as Los Angeles for obvious reasons. I think to
No.
most people that are thinking about signing somewhere,
Yeah.
especially. I mean, I don't know. You get to keep more of your money even in California than you do in New York City. It's like a little bit, it's still you're getting a lot taken out in terms of like the contract and things like that. But
Mhm.
the New York is like the most expensive, so I think that also plays into the Dodgers' favor a little bit.
Yeah. You also think of like weather early. Like you want to
Well,
be
weather's
hitting
the
in
biggest thing.
LA in
Yeah.
March and
Yep.
April. You don't want to be hitting in New York in like
No.
March when it's like still like 40 degrees.
No, exactly. This has been judged as like best April in a while, but usually in April it's so cold here that, or in New York that he's just like, I mean, it's balls aren't getting out of the stadium and it's freezing cold. So
And I'm so glad the torpedo bat thing is dying off, dude.
the torpedo bats are nice, and it wasn't just the Yankees. Nico Horner uses one. Ellie De La Cruz uses one.
Ellie's been going stupid with it. And I think we talked before that like Volpe, in
Yeah,
my opinion, Volpe's really the only guy that needs it because I feel like last year he was getting sawed off a lot,
yeah,
and like moving the barrel in towards his hands a little bit. Like obviously he's already off to a crazy hot start, and it's
yeah.
like I think the torpedo bat has a lot to do with that. But as far as like everyone else using it, I'm like, I don't think there's really a whole lot of like
Yeah,
benefit to it. Because like if you get a ball, like I know Judge hits a lot of home runs farther from his barrel.
but he doesn't use torpedo.
Yeah, that is true. But like
Yeah,
someone like Judge, but if
yeah.
you don't have that extra, I don't know, barrel on the end of your bat, like what is that thing just gonna explode? I have no idea what happens. I don't think anyone's hit it off the end of the bat with a torpedo yet. So
Not like hard enough off the end of the bat because I've seen Jazz hit one off the because he uses it. I've seen him hit off the end of the bat, but um, no, I mean it honestly Volpe talked about it like it probably only improves your ability to hit the ball by like point 0.5% or 1%, but even that makes a difference in the MLB, so that's why he decides to do it. I
I
think
was
it does
thinking,
make a big difference for him, but
I mean, just thinking about swinging a bat and having more weight towards you, like I feel
yeah,
like you could get more like swing harder, I guess, like your bat speed
yeah,
with that weight toward like more towards you, unless like, but like someone like to bring up Judge again, but he's like a caster. Like he wants
yeah,
all his barrel to be like lagging behind him, and he like because that's how you get the most like
yeah.
kinetic energy and whip out of the bat is like
I think most
when
people like that. I mean, even when you're
yeah
swinging a bat, like even just like when you're helping like somebody pick a bat or something like that, like I think most people like to have a little bit more of a top heavy bat
yeah yeah
because you can get more, like you said, a little bit more torque to the zone. So
which I
yeah, I
mean
don't know.
I think it's gonna help because like pitchers have had all the help they can get with everything and like new advancements and like technology and all of their training. Like
Spin rate and stuff.
exactly. Like pitchers have just been getting better and hitters are pretty much just like, yep, here's this fucking stick that you had last year, man. Like
The
go ahead
same
and
piece
use
of
it.
wood that we've used since like 1908.
Yeah.
Here you go.
And it's like I think it's cool that they're making a little bit of change and like they're
Yeah,
letting him do it because like I mean old baseball they would have been like hell no like we're
yeah.
not doing this but now they're like I mean it follows the guidelines like let them do it see what happens and I think it was kind of just a fluke that the Yankees came out and what had 16 runs in like 6 innings.
Yeah, it had to do with more with the Brewers pitching staff being 100% injured and they were just throwing meatballs up there. I mean,
Yeah,
I watched those games. I mean, they just didn't pitch well and the
yeah,
Yankees capitalized off it. Yankees usually start hot, so that didn't, surprise me at all. And obviously it blows up because it's the New York media and it's the Yankees, so they get all the publicity for it. So that
yeah.
probably has more to do with it. Um,
Deshambo and McElroy have been going back and forth.
what hole are they on currently?
I have no idea. I see Deshambo was in the lead at -11 and now McElroy just jumped him at -11, so DeChambeau probably.
Should we
I
jump
guess he
into our
bogeyed.
should we jump into our nostalgic moment?
Have to, have to.
All right, you want to go first or me?
Oh, I'll start, man. I'll start.
All you.
Had to bring it up, but just April 15th, 1947. I know, obviously, we weren't alive. I don't know if anyone in our family was alive at that point,
Yeah.
but Jackie Robinson became the first African American to start in a Major League Baseball game. Shout out Jackie, man.
Shout out Jackie, changing the game.
Changing the game.
Um,
42.
I like that. Shout out Jackie. Shout out the movie. Love that movie.
That is a great movie. I
Shout
don't want
out.
to quote it, but it's a great movie.
I've got a baseball related one too. This one's a little bit more in our lifetime. We were obviously 4 or 5 years old, but on today, April 13th, um, Barry Bonds hit his 661st career home run, which passed Willie Mays on the MLB all-time list. Barry Bonds should be a Hall of Famer in my opinion.
Yes.
Um,
Speaking of
so
that,
we,
dude, have you seen the Pete Rose stuff? Like, obviously he passed away, bless his
yeah,
soul. But like, now that he's passed away, everyone's like, or all the MLB, they're like, let's put him in the Hall of Fame. It's like, oh,
bullshit.
you really
They
couldn't have
needed to
done
put him
this.
in before.
It's
He's
crazy.
not. I know he's not a good guy, but he was the best hitter, like pure
Ever,
hitter, ever,
ever.
ever. And he always played hard. He was the man.
Yeah, and which is crazy. That was my dad's favorite player. So like growing up, I've always heard like Pete Rose, Pete Rose. I'm looking at Pete Rose highlights, and it's like the craziest video ever. I'm like, why
Yeah.
the fuck? But
He no
stats
he
don't lie at all.
stats don't lie, and I mean I'm not saying it is bad. If you are a coach, you should not be gambling on games. But he was
Dude, but
betting on the Reds to win.
he could be doing worse things, dude.
Way worse things. But he was betting on the Reds to win.
Exactly. Like if you're betting on yourself, that's one thing. If you're betting against your own team, like I would definitely like
That's bad.
that's bad.
You can't do
But
that.
if I'm betting for my own team, like I'm gonna bet on myself every day. That's
Yeah.
that's what you wake up and you
Pete,
bet on yourself.
hell yes. Pete Rose, bet on yourself. Um, no, Pete Rose should be a Hall of Famer. Barry Bonds should be a Hall of Famer. I think baseball writers get really like up on their high horse and just very like whatever. And then it's like, okay, so now he's dead, so now we're gonna reward him. And it's
Yeah,
like,
it's
okay, well
crazy.
he's not even here to accept it.
And then like his family like wanted to sue the MLB just because of all of that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, dude. I wouldn't want him to I mean, I know he wouldn't want to be in the Hall of Fame now.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, I grew up going to some Reds games because I wasn't far from Cincinnati. We would go have baseball tournaments there, and dude, going to a Reds game, all the old heads, Pete Rose jerseys everywhere, everywhere. He's all around the stadium. Like everything is Pete Rose centric, and that big red machine team they had. So
Mhm.
shout out Pete Rose, shout out Barry Bonds. We'll get you guys in the Hall of Fame with our influence. This
You
will
know
do it.
like the Immaculate squares
Yeah.
on the MLB app? Dude, you literally can put Barry Bonds for every single one of those. It's like 300 average, plus it's like 30 home run season, literally everything. And I love it. And it's
Obviously, I
crazy
grew
that
up.
that man's not in the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah. Obviously, I grew up a Yankees fan, but some of my best like memories as a kid, just to give like to really push home the nostalgia of the moment. Some of my best memories as a kid are like staying up late to watch Barry Bonds like on those
Hmm.
Giants teams and him hitting the ball into the cove, or just coming up with a watch on his wrist, or crazy
Yes.
earrings, or just some cool shit like that. He was
Yeah.
just cool as shit. That's the
He
best
was
way to
cool as
describe
shit.
him.
And
He
dude,
was
it
just
was
cool as
like
shit.
you know he's coming up to bat. He's either getting intentionally walked or he's hitting a
Oh,
500-foot home run.
a bomb.
And I will take either one of those.
What's crazy is like everybody talks about how the Giants stadium is the best stadium to pitch in, and he was just like, "Fuck you! I'm gonna break every record hitting here."
Literally.
Like
Literally.
that's what's crazy. Um,
And then it just turned out that it was the Mariners stadium.
yeah, the Mariners stadium is probably the toughest one to hit in. Definitely the best one to pitch in though. Shout out to M's.
I mean, no, they came out with statistics that it is the toughest to hit in because of
Oh,
the
it is.
glare and how low it is to sea level. Because like Oracle, isn't it Oracle where
Yeah,
Giants play?
yeah. I
Yeah, they
think.
don't have that glare, but like
Okay.
at T-Mobile, they have the glare off the bleachers and off of like the scoreboard. So
Shout out the Mariners for that.
shout out I mean, dude, but they've been last couple games they've been hitting.
A couple wins for him in the last couple games. They've been doing well.
Take it,
Um,
dude. Take it.
yeah, we'll take it. Shout out the M's for that. Um, you
Not a
want to give
M's fan,
some
but hey, I mean,
I'm here. I'm here in Seattle, so I'll go to some M's games. Go check them
yeah,
out. Say what's
hell
up.
yeah. Hell yeah.
Um, all right, I want to give a birthday shout out. Happy birthday, Dan Campbell. Motor City Dan.
Love
Happy
him.
birthday.
Sorry
He
for
was
last
born
season.
he was born in 1976 on this day, April 13th. So happy birthday, Dan.
Happy birthday, Dan. Motor City Dan. I'm always rooting for you.
Get a
But it,
venti, get a big venti coffee and
hmm
go get the boys fired up.
Go tell him you love him, man.
Go tell love you guys, man.
Love you guys. And maybe, yeah. I'm sorry Matthew Stafford had to do it to you last year, man.
Gross.
That was such a tough watch, dude.
Dude, they losing to the Commanders, to Jaden Daniels, like after the season that they had. We don't have to get into that. That could be a whole nother podcast on its own, but we'll just leave it at this positive. Happy birthday, Dan. I hope you never have to think about that again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, my birthday shout out. The man. The man not in the NFL anymore. Mr. Bill Belichick.
Happy
He's
birthday, Bill.
doing things over UNC.
I hope you and your girlfriend have a really nice dinner tonight. Happy birthday, Bill.
I wonder what some futures on UNC would be. Can you
For the Natty?
to make the playoff?
to make the playoff. I don't know if that'll be. Let me see if that's up. What do you think him and his girlfriend did for his birthday?
Oh, Rory's -12 now. Deshambo's -9. Oh, it's locked.
You think it's locked for Rory
It's
this
got to be
early?
locked. What are the odds now? What are the live odds?
Okay, let's see here. I'm doing the Natty to win the Natty. North Carolina plus
Yeah,
10,476
plus 10,000 to make the natty, not to win it,
to
just to
win the
make it.
Natty, to win
Oh,
it.
fuck.
They don't have playoff odds up yet.
Honestly, whenever those open, I might take those odds just because Bill, if he,
Quick last thing, if we're talking college football, did you see Tennessee quarterback Nico
yes.
Iamaleava
Well,
is
wasn't it because he just didn't show up to practice?
well he had a NIL contract for a certain amount of money and he wanted more money this year. He was supposed to
Of
get
course
paid
he did.
2 million this year and he said he wanted four because Carson Beck got four in Miami and he thinks
Dude,
he's better than Carson Beck.
he
Um,
is better than Carson Beck.
well,
Everyone is
he
better
is.
than
Carson
Carson
Beck's.
Beck.
I don't think Carson Beck's very good, but
I don't know how you have that season on a Georgia team and
yeah.
just be complete ass.
No, we agree on Beck, but
And I also hate his face, but that's just
bad face, bad
yeah.
face, tough look. But
And he's with
Iamaleava,
the one twin, the Calvinder twin.
I think he cheated on her though, correct?
I don't know. I just know he got his Lamborghini stolen or something like that.
He seems like the type of guy to do that. He's got a dumb face.
And he probably
Um,
called his mom right after, and he's like, "Mom, what do I do?" She's like, "Hey, you
mommy,
should probably call the cops." He's like, "Can you
mommy,
call him for me, please?
please call the cops for me, mom.
I'm scared."
Mom, mom, I'm really scared right now. Um, no, but Iamaleava is so he's filling out the paperwork to enter the spring transfer portal. It seems like people think he's going to go to UCLA. He's a Southern California guy, and I guess USC is not interested. So it seems like UCLA or, but somebody threw North Carolina in there for fun. I don't think Bill would deal with some
No,
NIL bullshit from a quarterback for his first year, but
no,
we'll have to see where he goes.
dude, being a prospect, like I would definitely want to play for Bill,
I
and
think it
that's
depends on how you want to be coached because like some guys like to be coached hard and have like a disciplined thing like that. But I mean, we've both grown up playing sports. Some guys don't like that at all.
yeah. But the only thing I'm thinking is Bill's obviously going to run an NFL style offense, and
Yes.
like not every college is running an NFL style offense. Like
Yes.
I don't even know who is like Michigan.
Well, no, Michigan. I mean, Michigan runs just like a. I mean, last year they had to run like just a run first Wildcat offense. But
Yeah, I know when they
I
had
think
JJ, they ran an NFL style offense. Well, they also had
pro
Harbaugh,
style.
so
Well, like Colorado brought in Pat Shermer specifically to run a pro style offense for Shadour. I don't know if they're going to keep doing that for whoever the next, quarterback is for them, but not a lot of guys run a pro style like that's. I mean, we see it with Jackson Dart. That's the biggest knock is that Lane Kiffin's offense is like a nerfed
yeah.
offense that makes it easy for you. Ryan
Also,
Day.
with that being said, too, like coming from the SEC and coming from what Colorado's in the Big 12,
Yep,
like that's got to be something in itself. Like Colorado could not. I mean, they did also
big
have kind of a
difference.
boo boo team, but
Yeah,
they couldn't win. And
it is a big difference.
I always think of when they're in the pack and like
Yeah,
they that lost to Northern Colorado. I'm like, or no, it was Colorado State.
yeah.
That always haunts me. That's why, like, every time I think of Shadour, I'm like, dude, you're kind of just ass because that was a terrible game. And then like Jackson Dart coming out of the SEC, I think that has a way like that looks
And
way better
winning
on his resume than Shadour coming out of the big whatever, and then getting
winning some big
absolutely
SEC games.
curb stomped in whatever bowl game they played.
Yeah, no, winning some big SEC games helps Jackson Dart's case
Hmm.
100%. Iamaleava, on that note, real quick, is since he's leaving in the spring portal, he can't go to another SEC team.
Really?
So he has to go to a different conference.
Hmm.
My sleeper, I'll leave the people with this. My sleeper on Iamaleava, everybody seems like they think it's going to be UCLA. Watch out for Oklahoma State. They don't really have a quarterback. They usually compete. That's going to be the closest thing. Still playing in the South. He gets to play Oklahoma once a year still and have some big TV games. I kind of like him at Oklahoma State. And he doesn't have to change colors. He can still wear
Yeah.
orange.
Yeah.
No new
I don't mind
undershirts.
that at all. I was gonna say the only thing it doesn't have a logo on is probably the undershirt.
Exactly. Boom. We're right back in the hunt.
Easy. Lock it in right now.
All right, we can end on that note. Shout out Iam for that.
Also, I wanted to shout out one other thing in sports.
Yes.
The St. Louis Blues. They were on a 12-game winning streak. And do you remember the in Major League the Joe Boo
Yes.
statue? Yes,
Yes.
they had a Joe Boo statue. 12-game winning streak. I think every other professional sports team needs to take notes and get a Joe
Yes.
Boo statue.
Shout out the Blues. Shout out to St. Louis as a
Hmm.
city. They need something like that. A big run from the Blues again would be fantastic.
We got to talk hockey offs in the next episode too.
Yeah, hockey offs in the next episode. We'll talk McJesus. We'll talk
Ovechki,
Colorado.
dude.
We'll talk
Ovi.
Ovi, the Great Eight. We'll talk some hockey next episode.
I'm
It'll
gonna
be
have to do
just like
some research.
how we opened this one with the Masters. We'll open the next one with hockey, and then we'll talk hockey again next playoffs.
Next, yes, exactly, exactly.
That'll be perfect. Well,
And also, Pirates keep doing the sell the team chants. I hope it doesn't carry over into football season because I love the Roonies, but shit's
sell the
got to
team.
change.
Who's the Pirates owner? We don't know.
I don't know.
He's not
He
even
got
relevant enough to
fucking
mention.
there's a video of him on X going around. It was supposed to be like a heartwarming, like him saying hi to all the fans walking through the stadium on opening days, and everyone's just
Sell the team.
blatantly cussing him out and yelling, "Sell the team."
But that's kind of on him because he knows everybody hates him.
Uh,
That would be like Nico Harrison walking through like a Dallas, mall and being like, "Hey guys, you guys excited for the playoffs?" And they're like, "Dude, fuck you." That basically,
I love the video of Mark Cuban just when they're fire Nico chants. I love it.
the Fire and Nico chants were everywhere. Um, so we'll probably have more to talk about when it comes to the NBA and then NHL
Yeah.
playoffs
Then
next Sunday.
one more.
Yes.
Leman baseball, college baseball team, 42-game losing streak.
No.
Yeshiva University, 100-game losing streak. They
Are
played each
these
other in a doubleheader last weekend.
and what was the
Lehman
result?
Lehman came out on top, broke the 42-game losing streak. Yeshiva 101.
Oh my God.
Isn't that fucking wild?
That's like multiple classes of kids coming in.
Yes. Dude, that's
Like,
like 3 seasons.
I have so many questions. Like, is it the same coaching staff? That's great. You don't even get baseball, especially, like, you can win in doing, like, on an error. You
Dude,
know what I mean? Like,
the other team can throw a no-hitter and you can still win.
yeah, you can win in so many ways. There's so many weird, creative ways to win in baseball. And even when you're by far the worst team, you
Yeah.
can still win a game.
Oh, yeah. Easy. Easy. Coming from a very unstable, very, very bad college baseball team,
You can
we
win a
still
game.
won. We beat the number 5 team in the nation in Lewis and Clark State, and we had no business beating them whatsoever.
Yeah,
So,
we have athletes on this pod.
we
This
do.
is an athletic pod.
Hmm. Very
Just
athletic
keep that
pod.
in mind when you're listening, that we're coming from a place of being former very good athletes. Very good.
I'm still, I'm still
Oh,
athletic.
Turner,
This is my
current
co-ed soccer championship medal.
current athlete.
Um, I have a game today. I'm gonna try to run it back. So
I'm a runner now, so I'm retired from team sports. It's
all about you.
all about me all the time.
That's how it should be.
Yep.
Fuck the rest.
And we'll leave it at that. Thank you all for listening. We'll be back next Sunday for talking hockey playoffs, talking NBA playoffs, and anything else that's happened in sports. We will be here on Sundays. So thank you for listening.
Thank you, everyone.